This is Pastor Chuck Brocka from Salt in the Valley. We're asked to read the Book of Mormon, so we're going through Ether. I've only arrived at chapter 5. You know, there's a lot more. There are so many problems. It's a long study. Ether 5:4 reads, "And in the mouth of 3 witnesses shall these things be established." So if 3 establish truth, who are the 8 witnesses at the front of the Book of Mormon who claim to see and handle the plates? The Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 5, 11 through 15, puts it this way: "The testimony of 3 of my servants, whom I shall call and ordain, unto whom I shall show these things, and unto none else will I grant this power, to receive this same testimony among this generation." You know, if God says 3, what then? Well, then God means 3. God is unchangeable and all-knowing. So would God say none else? If the 8 witnesses then later saw the plates too? It's a credibility problem. So were they rational and objective people? No, the 4 Whitmers, the brothers of David Whitmer. Oliver Cowdery was Joseph Smith's 3rd cousin. He and Hiram Page married the Whitmers' sisters, and the remaining 3 were Joseph's father and his brothers. We have 8 witnesses, a family who claim to see and handle the plates. Well, they must have lied, because Martin Harris said, "The plates were kept from the sight of the world, and no one, save Oliver Cowdery, myself, Joseph Smith Jr., and David Whitmer, ever saw them." Early Mormon Documents, Volume 2, page 306. But it gets worse. John Whitmer of the 8 witnesses, threatened by the Danites and the Mormon church leaders, later wrote in his History of the Church, "Joseph Smith Jr., S. Rigdon, and Hiram Smith moved their families to this place far west in the spring of 1838. As soon as they came here, they began to enforce their new organized plan, which caused dissensions and difficulties, threatenings, and even murders. Smith called a council of the leaders together, in which council he stated that if any person who said a word against the heads of the church should be driven over these prairies as a chased deer by a pack of hounds. He said the problem was they believed not in their secret bands and fornication, adultery, or midnight machinations. They had threatened us to kill us if we did not make restitutions to them by upholding them in their wicked purposes and designs. We met the families of Oliver Cowdery and L.E. Johnson, whom they had driven from their homes and robbed them of all their goods, save clothing, bedding, etc." It's Joseph Whitmer's History, page 22. So mobs, Mormon mobs, led by Joseph Smith. So which John Whitmer testimony do you choose to believe? Would you believe the post in the Book of Mormon but ignore the rest of his life? The testimony of 8 witnesses in the Book of Mormon is an in-house problem with many conflicts and contradictions. Friend, pray for the LDS people, a branch called the Community of Christ, and the polygamous peoples. My heart goes out to these poor souls, while the Mormon church is not straight up with them and does not want them to know the real story. Friend, if you tire of religious lies, then hear from Jesus. Search the Scriptures, for in them you think ye have eternal life. And they are they which testify of me. And ye will not come to me that you might have life. John 5, 39, 40. It's talking about the Bible. Search it out. Gain eternal life by coming right to Jesus Christ.